Hey, what's going on, dudes? My name is Rex, and we're back with someone stepping on bones on the floor. That hurts. We're playing some Elder Scrolls Skyrim. It has been a while. It's been, what, a month and a half or so. So I figured I should probably give you guys another episode. I'm not really feeling that well, and I also have a cat laying on my lap, so I'm in a little... I'm not in a very comfortable position, let's just say that. So if I sound a little droopy, a little kind of off, that's probably why. But anyways, welcome back to, I believe this is Bolungdrung? Bolungdrud, right? So we're in the middle of the Dark Brotherhood questline. We're pretty much just about to receive the most important and pivotal quest in this entire questline, so to speak. I do want to just speak a little bit about, before we get into that, some of these murals, because I believe I mentioned some of them in the very beginning of this series, and I haven't really quite touched on them since. You know, if I know beforehand that, you know, like we're gonna be kind of meeting some of these, then I might just prepare a little bit and talk some about them. But this is Orke. Is supposed to be the ancient Nordic god of snakes, and it's really, when it comes down to it, they all represent an animal. They used to kind of believe in that whole, like, oh yeah, like all snakes kind of come from this one primal godlike snake, and that snake has, I guess in some sense, you know, kind of a divinity to it. And that's who Orke was. Now, do not mistake Orke for Arche from the 8th Divines, because this is like entirely different. Arche, if I remember correctly, he's supposed to be a human who transcended humanity and became a divine. I don't remember if it was Dibella or Kinnereth. I don't remember anymore, or Mara. It might have been Mara, but one of the female deities kind of saw his potential as a human and turned him into the god of labor and work and commerce. This guy is supposed to be, as you might imagine, is a snake. He's supposed to be like a trickster. Like, this guy is supposed to be like the enemy god of the Nordic pantheon of the Nords, of the Admorans, which is very interesting that they would even make a mural for him, because, like, I mean, hell, let's imagine like the real life world, like 2,000 years from now. Like, you wouldn't see murals of like Satan, right? Like, that just doesn't happen. I don't know why there would be such a thing, but this guy is supposed to be like the enemy of humans, of Admorans, and he was supposed to be, if anything, maybe like the representation of Malekith, like the god of the orcs. And there's some really interesting stories about them. This is like the most craziest, like the craziest stories actually come from this guy. There's this one where like he summoned Alduin, and this is like in the books, in the game, that you can actually find his books, and they talk about this sort of thing. Whereas he summoned Alduin a long time ago as the devourer of time, and then Alduin cursed all Admorans to be able to only live up until 6 years old, and then they would die. And then this like demigod Wolfhearth had this entire like confrontation with Alduin and learned a new shout, and then he shouted the humans back to their normal selves, and then he cursed the orcs. Like, there's this whole thing about him which is very interesting. But that's like the cool thing about, because some of these gods actually have stuff to do with a new pantheon. Some of them do, at least. Like, for example, this guy. Now that we're talking about it, this is Junal, which is the god of mathematics and wisdom and knowledge and logic and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's represented by the owl, and we know that owl kind of represents, you know, those sort of virtues. He actually became Julianos. Every time I say that name, I feel like I want to say it's Spanish, like Julianos. It just has that kind of vibe to it. But Julianos, he's literally that. He's the god of mathematics, of logic, wisdom, blah blah blah. Like, it's literally the same guy. And we really don't know much about Junal more than what he's supposed to represent. But some of those old gods actually became or transformed into the new ones, whereas Orke just kind of, I don't know. He seems to be a combination of many different things. Some people used to say that he was, he used to represent Lorcan, because of the whole snake thing, because he's supposed to be like a traitor per se. but specifically, like, he's mostly attributed to, like, Malakath simply because he seems to favor the orcs. But it's just a whole mess. And it's very important not to mistake this, guys, for, like, the Nordic pantheon, because the Nordic pantheon is actually very different from the ancient Nordic pantheon, which is, it's very important to note. And specifically between the two, there is a big mistake, a big misconception. Some of the, and this is something that I've talked about before, that Bethesda tries to fool you a lot with some of these backstories. They, in some of the backstories for the Admorans, they actually mistake Akatosh for Alduin. Like, they actually use those two names. They exchange those two names between each other, and obviously we know they're two very entirely different beings. But the Admorans didn't know that. They just thought that he was like one person who took the appearance of both. And now we know that Alduin is supposed to be just a son, just the firstborn of Akatosh. And that's why he's so powerful. But anyways, enough of that nonsense. Let's go ahead and continue with our quest.
By the almighty divines, you've come. You've actually come. This dreadful black sacrament thing. It worked.
Yes, so it would seem. Well, I won't waste your time. I would like to arrange a contract. Several, actually. I dare say, the work I'm offering has more significance than anything your organization has experienced in, well, centuries. As I said, I want you to kill several people. You'll find the targets as well as their manners of elimination quite varied. I'm sure someone of your disposition will probably even find it enjoyable. But you should know that these killings are but a means to an end, for they pave the way to the most important target. The real reason I'm speaking with a cutthroat in the bowels of this detestable crypt, for I seek the assassination of the Emperor.
Oh, wonderful. You don't know how happy I am to hear you say that. So much has led to this day. So much planning and maneuvering. It's as if the very stars have finally aligned. But I digress. Here, take these to your superior. Rhexus, the items.
Here.
The sealed letter will explain everything that needs to be done. The amulet is quite valuable. You can use it to pay for any and all expenses.
There we go. So it's done. We can actually loot some of these, and I don't think they actually give a shit. In fact, I think there was a hidden item in here somewhere, wasn't there? I think it was here. No, I think that's later when the quest is completed, I'm pretty sure.
Best remember that.
Anyways, let's just kind of move along. I'm just looking. Oh, there's the black sacrament that was done. So there you go. Sweet mother, send your child unto me. For the sins of the unworthy shall be baptized in blood and fear. So you got your flesh, you got your skeleton, you got your heart. Obviously the nightshade, which is important. It's pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. So the amulet, what is this amulet? The amulet is supposed to be an amulet that is actually given to members of the Elder Council, and that's why the amulet is so valuable, and obviously why we are supposed to believe. I'm trying to pass through, man. That's why we are supposed to believe that this is a genuine request of actual note, because the amulet is from an Elder Council, and you know, obviously we are supposed to believe that there's some insider cutthroat business going on within the Imperial City, because a member of the actual council wants to kill the Emperor, which is not something that, you know, it happens every now and again. It's happened before, multiple times. If you guys remember back in Oblivion, and this is why I love Oblivion. Oblivion is like, if you wanna get a good kind of idea of how the Empire was before everything went down to shit, like that's what Oblivion is, and that's why I love that game, because it'll forever be this kind of photo of how everything used to be and how everything was awesome and perfect. Yeah, technically speaking. Because if we were to go back to the Imperial City right now, it would just be a fucking mess. But it's very interesting how things used to be back then. In fact, the actual higher like authority of the Elder Council, guess what race it was? It was a high elf. I believe his name was Okato. It was the High Magister Okato or something. But he used to be a high elf, and in fact, he recognized the threat of the Thalmor. Like, the high elf himself was against the Thalmor, and this is something that a lot of people kind of seem to neglect. It's literally the same thing like that Nazi Germany was, had in the first place. Like, not everyone that lived in Nazi Germany was a Nazi. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really wants war. Nobody really wants to kill other people, or nobody's an asshole. I feel like nobody's just naturally asshole-ish per se. Like, there are a lot of high elves down there who just don't necessarily believe in that, but that's just the government. Like, they can't do anything about it. Much like if the Empire suddenly wanted to, like, attack, I don't know, Valenwood, like, I'm sure there would be a lot of people living in Skyrim, living in Hammerfell, living in fucking High Rock that would just be like, no, why can't we just, like, relax, right? And that's the cool thing about the Empire back in Oblivion, that there was, like, you could really feel this connection between all the races to a point where, like, everyone was actually living in peace. But not anymore.
You're back. Good. All right, so, did you meet this Motier? What did he want? You're joking. What's this? By Sithis, you're not joking. To kill the Emperor of Tamriel. The Dark Brotherhood hasn't done such a thing since the assassination of Pelagius. As a matter of fact, no one has dared assassinate an Emperor of Tamriel since the murder of Uriel Septim, and that was 200 years ago.
Pelagius was, if I remember correctly, and there are a lot of Pelagiuses. I'm not sure which one she's referring to, but she used to be the old, or he rather used to be the old Emperor or the High King of Solitude, and he's the one that if you do the quest with Shoggorath here in Skyrim, you go into his head. He's that crazy king. He's supposed to be that, or that person.
No, she certainly wouldn't. And for whatever reason, she chose to relay Motier's information to you. I don't know exactly what's going on here, if you're the listener, or this is some fluke, or what. But what we now have before us... You're damn right we'll accept it. If we pull this off, the Dark Brotherhood will know a fear and respect we haven't seen in centuries. You think I'd abandon an opportunity to lead my family to glory? But this is all so much to take in. I need time to read the letter and figure out where we go from here. And this amulet. I'm thinking we need that amulet appraised. I want to know where it came from, how much it's worth, and if we can actually get away with selling it. And there's only one man who can give us what we need. Delvin Mallory. He's a fence, a private operator. Works out of the Ratway in Riften. Give me the letter. Bring Mallory the amulet. Find out everything you can and sell it if he's willing. He'll offer a letter of credit. That's fine. Delvin Mallory and the Dark Brotherhood have... history. He can be trusted.
There we go, boys. So what is the Elder Council, which should probably had been the very first question to be answered before I went on that little Oblivion rant. But so the Elder Council is supposed to be kind of like... you could say they're the real power behind the Empire. Like, they're this kind of ruling body that actually makes the rules and all the regulations and laws of the Empire. The Emperor has power in the sense that, they're not gonna kill me, right? Oh,
You have committed
shit.
crimes against Skyrim and her people. What say you in your defense?
I don't remember what I did. That's my only defense. I'm gonna have to pay this.
Smart man. Now come along with us. We'll take any stolen goods and you'll be free to go. After you pay the fine, of course.
I really don't remember what I did. There's a lot more guards in... What the fuck? I'm in Riften. I didn't have Riften until now. I was gonna go through this whole process of like, alright, well, we gotta walk through Riften because I'm not just gonna grab a carriage because I like to walk to locations. Every time I go to a city, I like to just walk there before actually using a carriage. I don't have to do that anymore. but I really wanted to because there's a lot to talk about. Let's do that instead because there's a couple of locations that I want to do. And there's also the main topic of the video that I have to cover. Jesus, I was not planning for this. Damn it. Anyways. The Elder Council, the Emperor has the same power that a president has, in a sense that, like, the president is kind of the first one to... The president can veto whatever he wants, so the Emperor can do that as well. If the Elder Council, like, wants to issue a law and the Emperor in the scenario doesn't really like it, he can just veto it. He can just say, like, yeah, that's not happening. Or, on the same vein, he can also approve, or he has to, rather, approve everything that gets passed to him. Otherwise, it is not allowed. I'm just gonna die here. So, the Emperor doesn't really make the rules. He just accepts them or vetoes them. That's really the main concept of it. You know, the Emperor doesn't know shit about laws and regulations and fucking taxes and shit. He just accepts them, I guess. Well, this is the first location we're gonna enter, the Honey Strand Cave. I don't believe there is much here other than just a few bears. Definitely no quests related to this, but this might actually be pretty bad. Do I have any potions with me? Probably should have been the very first thing that I should have checked, and I don't, because welcome to my life. Oh yeah. I mean, the bears just like get knocked into the pillar. It's like the best. Okay. Let's go ahead and deal with this. I don't know if there's anything really else to talk about the Elder Council. It's one of those things where, like, we don't really know much about them, like how the process of actually selecting a member of it actually works, how many members there are. Like, none of that. We actually don't know anything because the game doesn't give us any sort of information on that. I have to get rid of something. I probably have a lot of dragon bones, don't I? What the hell is making me wait so much? Oh, I don't think I have the time to, like, kind of go through every single item. I don't think so. Ceremonial sword, I can get rid of that. I cannot. Ceremonial sword. What is this used for? Ceremonial sword. That's obviously a quest. I don't remember. Do not remember. Lunar maze. Guess I'm not using a shield. I can get rid of that. This one I'm not using. Alright, I'll just be careful not to pick any random items that I don't need. The locked room. Give us that. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the main topic for today, which comes from Dillith. Dillith number 1, he asks, do you know how the Briar Hearts have their hearts removed and then replaced with, well, Briar Hearts? And also Nelith and the Heartstones. Would it be possible to do that with a Dremora's heart and gain daedric abilities? Because that would be really, really cool. Thanks for the question, buddy. So, to kind of... Well then, I guess my little explanation is going to have to wait a little bit because we're going to have dialogue.
A new hand touches the beacon. Listen, hear me and obey. A foul darkness has seeped into my temple. A darkness that you will destroy. Return my beacon to Mount Kilcreath. And I will make you the instrument of my cleansing light.
So there we go. We got a quest from Meridia, one of the few daedric gods who is actually not considered to be wholly evil. In fact, if anything... Okay, I don't want to say benevolent, because she's not. And this is a mistake a lot of people make, and this is something that I think I talked about in one of the other episodes I made. Just because she is not evil, and just because she wants to kill undead, it doesn't make her good. Meridia doesn't give a shit about you. She will kill you. If you bother her in any way, shape, or form, she will kill you. And that's probably the main thing to keep in mind. Her nature makes it so that what she wants and what you want usually are connected. But don't be fooled into thinking that she's an ally to humanity, because she is not. But we will do her quest. Her quest is located way up north here in the Statue of Meridia by Solitude. It's already given to us in our map. We'll go there as soon as we... and this is how it's going to work, guys. We are going to... Since you guys voted that you guys wanted to do the Dark Brotherhood, we're going to finish the Brotherhood. But then after we do that, we are going to... Riften is actually this way. Oh god, there's actually more. After we finish the main quest line, we are going to kind of take a little bit of a break from major quest lines to do actually just do major quests that are not kind of tied up to a quest line. And so we'll do things like Meridia's Beacon. We'll do some of the ones that we have collected, like the White File. I didn't show this one. I don't know if I showed this one on a video. I talked to the guy like really fast, which was my mistake. But I can explain the quest later on. But we can do like actually serious, big storyline-oriented quests after we finish the quest line for the Brotherhood. And then after we do maybe like 2 or 3, we can start the next one, which will depend on you guys and whatever you guys vote for. Anyways, Dilith. So he's asking, and just to preface this with maybe some information, just to make sure that we'll have context to this. So we all know who the Briarhearts are. They are forsworn who are given this kind of magical powers by the hagravens to empower them into becoming immortal, you know, obtaining longer lifespans, becoming more powerful, and gaining certain abilities. We know that those are pretty... Oh shit, these are Nadidas, right, people?
Hail, friend. It's good to see another merry soul enjoying this fine
This is Sanguine's people.
Ah, but you look tired. Come, share a bottle of honey brew mead with me.
I think I'm gonna pass.
You've never had a taste? Its sweetness is like a fair maiden's kiss on a starry night. And it's got enough kick to put a frost troll on his hind quarters. But enough talk. Come, won't you share a drink with me and my companions?
I will pass.
Cheers, my friend.
Hunting brew mead is Nordic mead, which is actually illegal in the Empire. You can only drink it either in Solstheim or in Skyrim. Anywhere else is considered to be kind of illegal. Would be the equivalent of like smoking skooma or something along those lines. It's just not accepted anywhere else. Don't ask me why. That's just... There are a lot of really interesting and bizarre restrictions that the Empire has placed upon their people. Some of them which are as retarded as restricting Nordic mead. In fact, some of them are even more retarded. Did you guys know that the Empire has actually restricted levitation magic? Yep. It is actually illegal to study levitation magic. So if you go to if you guys remember, there's this flying meteor in Morrowind that is preventing the city of what's his fucking name? What is his fucking name? Vivek City is preventing Vivek City from being destroyed by this like meteor flying on the sky. The meteor is being held in the air by levitation magic. That's actually illegal anywhere else. So it's like the Emperor has this weird fucking insane rules that make no sense. But, you know, alas, that meat is one of those. Anyways, tangents, man. People keep interrupting me. So yeah, there's this whole process that the hagravens go through to infuse power into the forsworn. And this power, this ritual, this ability is further talked about in Solstheim in the Dragonborn expansion, when you actually get to talk to Neloth. Neloth being, I believe he's the head person of the house Telvanni. He is like this kind of old school, very old wizard who's very powerful, but he's currently studying this whole magic of imbuing people with hearts made out of, you know, energy in order to make them more powerful. In essence, doing the same thing that the hagravens do for the forsworn, but in this case he's trying to use heartstones, which are these kind of cores that drop from the Red Mountain, and he wants to infuse those hearts into people, replacing their normal hearts with those heartstones in order to make them stronger. And this is something that gets done in the game. So the question by Dilith is, what if you were to grab a daedric heart and actually infuse someone with this heart, replace their human heart with a daedric heart? Would that make them dangerous? Would that make them powerful? It's a very interesting question, and to be honest, I 100% agree. I think it would probably happen. And this is not something that is necessarily done in the game per se. There are a couple of locations, not locations, but situations that have happened in the past within the lore of the Elder Scrolls that kind of make you believe that this might actually be a thing. Obviously, the most obvious thing that just specific situation that has actually happened in the lore of the game is the one with, and I want to make sure that I don't miss. There's a couple of locations here that I want to visit. I think it's that one. Oh, I think it is. But it would be the Tribunal. If you guys remember, in Morrowind, the Tribunal actually became gods because they absorbed the powers of Lorkhan's heart, right? So it is literally the same thing. They're using the heart of another entity, in this case of a divine, of a deity, just to become more powerful. So it has happened before. We also know that back in the first era, I believe, with Saint Alicia and Pelinal Whitestrake, we know that Umaril he used to be this like old king of the Eyelids, and he was actually part Elvish and part Daedra, mostly because a Daedra had, I guess, intercourse with a mortal, with an elf, and he came out of that kind of exchange of fluids. But alas, he made a pact with Meridia that allowed him to kind of be resurrected in her realm of oblivion, where he to die. We don't know exactly what pact he made, but we know that you know, this pacts with the hagravens, these rituals are just that. You know what I mean? Like there's some kind of it's some kind of pact or contract that you make that allows you to obtain this level of magic and power. So that's another option that could have happened, although we don't really know exactly. I'm looking for a dude here. Hold on.
It's just me and my mother at the mill here. My father is gone. We don't know what happened to him. Hey, you want to play a game? Really? All right. You pick. Tag or hide and seek. I know all the good spots. You don't stand a chance. You stand right there and count to 10. No peeking. Ready? Okay, go.
I was gonna say, if he just leaves, I'm just not gonna look for him.
My turn. 10, 9.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this. I was looking for somebody. I don't remember exactly which places I want to go to, but there's a couple here that I wanted to visit, and I should have probably prepared a little bit more for this. Maybe I should have. I do think it is entirely possible to kind of transform into a Daedra by having that heart kind of implanted into you. But it does come into the whole point of like, I don't think you can do this with just any heart. I specifically think you can do it with a Daedric heart, but mainly because of what a Daedric heart actually represents. Because a Daedric heart doesn't represent an actual heart. Like, Daedras don't have really blood. Like, they don't... They can change shapes into whatever they desire. Like, they don't need this organ to, like, push blood into their bodies. Like, that's just not a thing they do. In fact, I mean, you all know that fire Atronax and frost Atronax, like, those are actually Daedras as well. And obviously they don't have hearts or anything for that matter. I think this is a bandit trying to fool me, right?
Colorful.
Or this is part of the, no, this is part of the, Dawnguard expansion with the vampires. I think down there is where they're doing all that skooma, if I'm not mistaken. Man, I failed you guys miserably. There was a couple places that I wanted to actually find here. I might have to do that on the next video, after I actually do look for them a little bit more. You guys trusted me, and I failed you all. But yeah, it really is all about what the Daedric heart actually represents. Jesus. What it represents a core of power, which is the same thing that, say, a Briar Seed a Briarheart in this scenario would do, or a Heartstone would do. It's not really an organ of sorts as much as it's just a source of power, a power core, an energy core. It's really what it is. And what it does is that it actually infuses you with the element that the core represents. So like a Briarheart, for example, if you actually put that into a forsworn, it allows you to kind of feel in tune with the plants. You could talk to the plants. You could kind of feel the energy of the earth and then use the energy of the earth to your own volition. So you could actually summon things like Spriggans, for example. And with Heartstones from the Red Mountain, you could theoretically summon ash spawns and talk to the mountain and things of that. And you could feel the mountain in a degree that others wouldn't necessarily be able to feel. So you could probably tell when the mountain was going to explode, things like that. So infusing yourself with the power core of a Daedra, their heart, their kind of their essence, would probably transform you into a Dremora. Like, I wouldn't actually, I am gonna die here. This is way too high level for me. I have no potions. Minor healing, so, you know, whatever that does for me. I'm just gonna run away and heal. Shit. Maybe if... Nope. Nope. I don't know where Lydia is. So it would definitely transform you into a Daedra or something close to that. I guess I saved just not long ago. I'm gonna avoid this location. There's really nothing in here outside of just plants. This is one of those great places if you want to collect a lot of different like reagents for potions. Like, you know, flowers, things like that. You can find a lot of them here. I would like to at least, like, obtain the place and then just, like, book it. There we go. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's just go to Whiterun, man. Let's get the hell out of here. Oh, God. Oh, God. This is really bad. The problem with transforming yourself into a Daedra, it's not... I mean, of course you would get a lot of power. Of course you would become immortal, which is great. It's fantastic. The problem is that Daedras in this world have so many restrictions. Oh, shit. I attacked the wrong animal. I feel like you wouldn't actually get any benefit out of it. I mean, Daedras in Unknown, they can't really do much of anything if you really think about it. Fuck me, man. He just doesn't want to leave me alone. You know, the nature of the world, the nature of what the Divines have done to protect this planet makes it so that Daedras are actually kind of fucked. Like, those that live here can barely live here, and the only reason that they do live here is because they're bound to something, whether it is a shrine or an item, just anything. They can't just, like, leave and do whatever they want. They just can't. And those that leave outside have a really hard time entering, right? And when they do, they're bound to some necromancer or, you know, conjurer of sorts. So it is kind of a silly existence, to be perfectly honest. Plus, you would most probably be banished into oblivion, at which point you would probably fall into the ownership of one of the Daedric lords, and that's just not a place you want to be.
We could always use help picking crops if you need a few extra coins.
Yes, you can actually help her with some of the farm work, and she gives you money, which is not really what you want to do. What you want to do, however, is talk to this guy.
Who in the name of Azura are you?
What happened to your bow? I guess that we were supposed to listen in on a conversation that he was having with the wife, whereas he says that some bandits actually stole shit from his farm, and some of the shit that was stolen was his bow, which we're supposed to ask him about.
A few days ago, some thieves from Riften broke in here and stole it. Can you imagine? Took the only thing of value we had. If you have the guts to head into the Ratway and get my bow back, I'll pay you what I can. Thanks. It'll be nice to have it back. Means a lot to me. The Ratway is somewhere under Riften. Shouldn't be too tough to find.
This is one of the two things that I wanted to cover in this episode, because as you can clearly see, we have to go into the Ratway to actually obtain his bow, and as you all know, we are supposed to go into the Ratway anyways to further the Dark Brotherhood questline. So, two Daedras with one Heartstone. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. It would be kind of a silly existence being a Daedra. I wouldn't really recommend that. Anyways, welcome to Riften.
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard.
I think I may have been here before. I definitely you guys would be able to tell me this. Have I been in here before?
Vampires are becoming a real menace.
I don't remember. I really don't remember. But welcome to Riften. It's probably my favorite city. It's definitely the most. For some reason, this city tends to push computers a little bit harder than any other city. I don't know why, but yeah, the harbor city is supposed to be kind of like the in-between city between Morrowind and Skyrim. Believe it or not, you would think that it would be Windhelm, but for the most part, when you talk about the story, the lore between Skyrim and Morrowind, it tends to be more Riften than Windhelm that gets mentioned. Nowadays, I think it's mostly... See, there's a reason why most Dark Elves are actually in Windhelm, and I told you guys before, it's because the capital of the Dark Elves is currently here, whereas before it used to be way in the south. But because of the explosion between in Red Mountain and the invasion of the Argonians, they had to move their capital to the north, which is the reason why now the capital is closer to Windhelm. But before, the capital used to be closer to Riften. So usually within the story, Riften is more considered to be like kind of the connection between the two, so to speak. But yeah, not much to do here. Kind of a city of rebellious people. They used to have a Jarl a couple of years ago. I believe it was about 15 or so years ago, and the Jarl was kind of an asshole, so the people of Riften rebelled against him and killed him, and now they're also rebelling against the Empire because they're part of the Stormcloaks. So there's a lot of rebelliousness going on in this city. So I guess we can go down to the Ratways. We don't have to waste too much time here. But I also wanted to talk about a little bit of the nature of Daedra, since we're talking about those, and obviously, of course, the hagravens. The hagravens are considered to be a mutation, not a mutation, but they're considered to be a hybrid in between a humanoid mortal and a raven, and obviously you can see that based on their claws. Their hands are literally raven claws, and their feet are talons, and they have feathers everywhere. And it's very interesting, and the game does go a little bit in depth with the ritual that they go through in order to actually become that. And apparently, it seems like you need a lot of energy, obviously based on the fact that you require a lot of soul stones to be able to make that happen. You need a human sacrifice, which I believe has to be someone else other than you, of course, and a skiver. More so than any raven or bird, which is kind of interesting that it would actually be that. But doing this ritual and transforming yourself into a hagraven is something that you can do as a witch, which allegedly increases your connection with nature, makes you a way stronger magician by being in touch with nature, of course, understanding those primal magics of the planet, I guess, and also makes you immortal. Legends say that the hagravens have actually been alive since the beginning, whatever that entails. We don't know what the beginning means, but that's what the lore says, is they've been there since the beginning. And they probably were Bretons, because they have such a strong connection with the Forsworn, which are Bretons that used to live in Skyrim. I don't know if there's anything here. Let me move, girl. But yeah, so they're like one of the... Because I was thinking to myself, you know what, there really isn't any druids, per se, in this game. We have mages, we have warriors, we have, obviously, the rogue characters, archetypes, we have the I don't know, the illusionist. Like, when you think about stereotypical RPG tropes as far as classes go, like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls has it all. The only thing that they are missing is kind of like that druid class of like, yeah, I can transform myself into animals at will, right? That's the one thing that Elder Scrolls doesn't really have. And I was starting to think like, okay, what people can actually do that? Who in this game has the ability to do those things? And these things are gonna kill me. You can actually make this guy kill himself on the bear traps, which is hilarious. And also, he gave us the Gloves of the Pugilist, which we all know is, I believe it's like the only It's like it's one of the only things in the game that can actually improve your punching. Wait, where is it? Gloves of the Podulus is called. There it is. It's one of the only things in the game that can actually improve your unarmed strikes, other than being, I believe, being a vampire does that if you're like the great vampires, and obviously being something like a Khajiit, for example, that also increases that. So what you should do is probably disenchant this. If you're like into that sort of thing, you disenchant this, and then you enchant a plate armor, a heavy armor glove with that enchantment, so that you can use that enchantment alongside that would be heavy armor, so you can do that with this. Unarmed attacks with heavy armor gauntlets do their armor rating in extra damage, so it would allow you to have this very specific enchantment alongside that particular perk, which is really good. But yeah, there are no druids in this game. We know that daedrics can transform into any shape they desire or want, which is really cool and kind of serves that purpose. We know that you know, there are lichens and things of that nature. There are curses in this world that transform you into animal shapes, but you can't really change into other animals per se, right? Like, there's no person who can just be like, yeah, I'm a raven now I'm a bear. If you guys know one of those, then let me know. But I don't think I know one, which is very interesting.
Oh.
Some people think that this place used to be like where you would kill people. you would chop heads here, so you would put someone in there, axe it, and then the head would fall in the basket. Yep. Have I been here before? I feel like no. I don't know why I get this deja vu feel that I have done this in the Let's Play. Oh my god, he just dodged it all. Holy shit, he's gonna kill me. Fucking low life, dude. Holy crap. But yeah, you know, he has an axe, and you know, of course, there's a stump and the bucket, and I don't know. Maybe it could just be for animals. Maybe he just decapitates all the skivers and throws the head there. I don't know. Could be either way, I guess. The latter, I guess, makes more sense probably. Anyways, welcome to the Ragged Flagon. This is the main hub of the Thieves Guild, and of course, we'll be talking a little bit more about this as we proceed through the quest lines. In this case, specifically the Thieves Guild quest line. It's kind of a bar underground. Nothing else to say about that. As you complete more missions for this group of people, you unlock different stores that will be appearing in these little sectors of the map. You can have alchemists, armorers, merchants, etc. All kinds of things.
Scuba was some of the best quality I've seen in years.
Stay out of trouble, or there's gonna be trouble.
You guys want to talk about skooma?
The rest just writes itself.
Well, if you like, I'll be happy to take over the operation for you. Take the sauce off your hands.
And lose out just when the going is getting good? No thanks.
Anyways, we'll continue the quest line on the next episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, I'm a little bit sick, not feeling very well, and the cat is here, which is kind of making me, just based on the fact that the cat is on my lap, I have to like bend over to like record, which is, I don't know, making it a little bit weird for me. So I hope the commentary wasn't subpar or anything. I should also remove the Steam overlay, because you guys are probably seeing every single person that is logging in into playing a game. It's like appearing on the corner, so I'm sure that's bothersome, and I've seen some complaints about it on some of the other videos, so I'll see about fixing that on the next episode. I just completely forgot. But yeah, it was kind of a solid topic. Played a little bit. I need to get into the groove of this. Sorry guys, it's been a while, but I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, bros.